winners and then we say let's go. So come on, it's time to watch the show. We're talking hardball, Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw. We're talking hardball, over under on the hot dogs.
Live on a Thursday afternoon. It is 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific. I'm Adam the Bull. He is professional gambler Chris Macero. And we are here today on this Thursday to hopefully provide you with some winners on Betting Weekly Hardball, part of the Betting Weekly Studios under the Bet Rivers umbrella. And we are with you live every day every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Even tomorrow we'll be on during the 4th of July. Chris, how you doing, man? What's going on today?
I'm doing great. As we talked off air, I'm sweating out the under in this first game, 9:10 Pacific first pitch for Twins Marlins. I was just hoping that both teams were just trying to get the heck out of town. And so far, so good. 4-1 in the seventh. Hopefully we can hold on. Under 8.5 is what I'm holding right now.
Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned how you weren't feeling good in the first inning, which is not a surprise because the Marlins scored 3 in the bottom of the first, but there's only been 2 runs scored since. The Twins just getting on the board. So, yeah, the Marlins are batting in the bottom of the 7th, and it's 4-1. So looking good, but as we all know in baseball and in just gambling in general, things can change in a hurry. So got to get 15 more outs. No, the home team is winning, so you got to get 12 more outs right now.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, things can change in a hurry. And let's recap a little bit of yesterday. We had Toronto 8-0, quickly turned into 8-7 to 9-9. They had Red Sox 3-0, quickly turned into 5-3 Reds. It was 2-0 Angels sailing along. Next thing you know, the Braves throw up a 7 spot. Just some crazy swings and turnarounds. And like I said before, if you're betting these games live, you just got to be on top of it. You can't be just nodding off at the bar or, falling asleep on the couch because things change in a hurry. And sometimes you can capitalize or, save some of your bet depending upon the situation. So just always pay attention because things change quickly.
Just like anything else, if you want to be good at gambling, you want to have success, you got to put in the work. I mean, you can't just, if you're out there just guessing, you're probably going to lose a lot of money. So there's got to be some work behind it. You can't just sit around. But some of the work is watching shows like this, and hopefully we can help the folks. And as you said, also the Guardians led the Cubs 3-0 last night, and they lost 5-4.
One other one we didn't mention. What about the Dodgers game?
That's right.
The Dodgers at home, they're never out of it.
No.
It seems like they must score more runs in the 9th inning than any other team in the history of baseball at home. I've never seen anything like it. Night after night, they keep doing it.
By the way, one other thing you started with the Blue Jays-Yankees game, which was the craziest game, because a lot of times you feel like, the team blows the huge lead, they lose, but they ended up winning the Jays 11-9. But what I don't understand is it had been 8-0, and then it was 9-7, and in the top of the 8th, with a man on, the Blue Jays pitched to Aaron Judge, which to me is insane. Why would you ever give that guy a chance to tie the game?
I completely agree with you. It's been discussed a million times. No one understands it, but teams keep pitching to this guy. I just got a stat from my brother today that Anthony Volpe, after last night's game, now leads the entire Major League Baseball in runners left on, 151 runners left on base. Anthony Volpe. And this guy, I don't understand why he's even playing, but they just extended him 2 weeks ago to an extension of his contract. It's just a mind-blowing situation there.
Wow.
They're free-falling, the Yankees. It's basically a 3-way tie for first. Red Sox still 6 back. So the East is wide open. The American League is wide open. Texas and Houston Detroit and Houston playing really well. But the Yankees are just in a total funk, and the only guy who seems to bail them out all the time is Judge, and why they would ever pitch for him makes no sense.
It's like I say with the Guardians all the time, even more so because the Guardians lineup is way worse than the Yankees. But why would you ever pitch to Jose Ramirez? I would never give him a chance to tie a game or take the lead. I mean, they have really nobody else that can hurt you. So teams do crazy things sometimes. By the way, you just got a big break in the Marlins-Twins game. The Marlins had first and second, nobody out, and Connor Norby hit a bullet line drive that you thought might get into the gap or go down the line and be a couple of runs for the Marlins, but no. Willie Castro makes the catch and doubles off Eric Wagaman at second base. So instead of a potentially 5 or 6-1 game with nobody out, instead it's still 4-1 and there's a runner on first, 2 outs, and now a 2-strike count to Derek Hill. So hopefully it pays off, but that might have saved it for you there.
Sounds good. No, I like that. Good update. Only good updates, Bull. Only good updates.
Only when if it's bad news, we're not going to share it. Bad news, we won't share it. All right. So that's the one game going on right now. And shockingly, usually on Thursday, there's a lot of day games. There is only one other day game today, and it doesn't start till we're done. And that's the Astros and Rockies. That game at 3:10. It'll be on MLB Network. And that'll be 3:10 Eastern, so about an hour from now. I don't think I put this game. Did I put this game in the rundown? I can't remember now. I'm going out of order. Oh yeah, I did. So I'm going a little out of order. I apologize, right. but since we're here, Brandon Walter's going to pitch for the Astros. He's been pretty good for them since they called him up for the Rockies. There's really nobody you can say has been pretty good. Kyle Freeland has a 5.60 ERA, a 1.60 WHIP. He's been terrible. They've been terrible. What are you doing here? I mean, you can't bet on the Rockies, right? So what would you do? Anything in this one?
It's just a weird. It's a weird game because the last, you're playing in Colorado. You figure it's going to be an over game. The last 2 games have been unders. Freeland 1-9, like you mentioned, 5.56 ERA, but even worse at home, 0-4 with a 7.11 ERA. Now, Walter, on the other hand, he's only pitched, 29 2/3 innings. He's given up 5 home runs, and his road ERA is a little worse. He hasn't pitched at Coors yet, so maybe this is the over game, although the last 6 meetings between these 2 teams at Coors have gone under. So it's kind of back and forth on the trend here. One of the things I would say I would have to lean over just due to the fact it's supposed to be 90-something degrees at first pitch. The ball, you figure, is going to be jumping out of there. And you got one pitcher who's given up 5 home runs already in 29 innings. And the other one has just been probably the worst pitcher in baseball this entire season. So, and you already had 2 games that went under. So maybe the bats do break out. One guy that's hitting well is Christian Walker, 12 for 35. He had 2 hits last night. He's had 2 home runs against Freeland. So, maybe you look at a Christian Walker prop, a hit prop, a total bases prop. He's got a 343 average and a pretty big sample size against Freeland. I don't have a play on this game right now. I would kind of lean over just due to the weather and the fact that the 2 pitchers, but the trend says the last 6 between the 2 have gone under. So no play at the moment on this game.
Speaking of trends or streaks, the Astros have won 3 in a row and 8 of 9. The Rockies, after that rare 4-game winning streak they had a couple of weeks ago, have since dropped 10 of 12 to get back to the dregs of baseball, kind of where they belong. More good news for you in that Twins-Marlins game. Derek Hill struck out to end the 7th, so it's still 4-1, and now they're moving to the 8th in Miami with the Twins coming to bat. All right, let's get to the next game. Yankees and Blue Jays. We talked about the wild one last night. You mentioned it. The Blue Jays moved with that win last night, moved into a tie for first with the Yankees. They're both 48 and 38. Tampa just a half game back. They played one more game. They're 48 and 39. What's wild is the Yankees have a plus 103 run differential, and the Blue Jays have a plus 6 run differential, which obviously means the Yankees, when they've won, have blown out teams a lot more, whereas the Blue Jays are playing closer games. But they're playing really well, the Jays. They've won 4 in a row. They've won 7 of 10. They're obviously at home where they've been great, 28 and 16. And the pitching matchup tonight in that game is Clark Schmidt against Chris Bassett. Anything for you in this game, Chris?
You must have been listening to that Michael K clip that's going around this morning saying that, the Yankees are 103 run differential. They're so much better than Toronto.
They're not.
According to Michael K. Michael K says Toronto's not good, and it's just kind of a petty comment to make, especially after losing 3 straight and you're on the verge of getting swept out of first place. So this game would be just ride what's been going on. Toronto and over If you're going to play it, that'd be the only play I would be making. The last 9 games between these two teams at Rogers Center have gone over. You got these 2 bullpens that are obviously destroyed from last night's game. And although they did leave Warren in for, he gave up all those runs in the first, but they did leave him in until the 4th inning, which was kind of interesting. A couple of guys who've been hitting really well lately. Springer's been on fire last 2 games, 5 for 8, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 4 runs scored. He's 3 for 10 versus Schmidt, so you might want to look to continued success with Springer. Judge is 5 for 17 versus Bassett, only 1 home run. Goldie 4 for 9 versus Bassett, and Dominguez in a small sample size 2 for 3. So some good hitting guys on the Yankee side against Bassett, who has been pretty good and very good at home, 5-0 with a 2.6 ERA. So I would just go with the trend here. This game's been, I can't believe that Toronto is getting plus money today. Just out of principle, I think you have to take that. So I'm going to play a little Toronto plus money.
Yeah.
I've had them the last couple nights. I've had the over the last couple nights. I'm just going to stick with it. It's been winning, and you've been getting the Toronto Blue Jays as an underdog. And for some reason, the totals haven't been as high as I would expect, and these games have been going way over. So a lot of hot hitters on both sides, and we'll just go with the trend. I'm going to play Toronto, and I'm going to play the over.
Just in terms of the bullpen, because you mentioned the bullpen here, Ian Hamilton pitched an inning and 2/3. He only threw 21 pitches, but he might be down for them tonight. Obviously, Devin Williams really struggled in his outing, and he threw 25 pitches. For the Blue Jays, Yariel Rodriguez, he's pitched 2 days in a row, and Brendan Little's pitched 3 of the last 4 days. However, their closer, Jeff Hoffman, pitched yesterday, but he only threw 14 pitches, so he should be fine to go for the game tonight. But yeah, I agree with you. I like the over, and I like the Blue Jays, and I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I was going to say I have an idea of why the Blue Jays are not favored, but I thought about it again, and now I don't get it. The Yankees are not playing well. I mean, it used to be, and I've talked about this a little bit with Doug, but it used to be like back in the day, well, the Yankees would just be favored because they're the Yankees and people will bet on them. But Doug, it doesn't really work that way anymore. So I don't know. Why do you think they're favored?
I'm baffled due to the fact. I mean, I could see them being favored if it was like Max Fried versus one of Toronto's lower level pitchers.
Yeah.
But Bassett has been lights out at home, 5-0, 2.6 ERA. What's going on here? But sometimes it's just baseball and it goes the other way. The law of averages, the Yankees are finally going to win a game. I guess you could put it that way. But the way the Yankees clutch hitting has been, it hasn't been there. And Schmidt's, he's okay. I mean, some of these guys, one other guy, Jimenez, 3 hits last night. He's 5 for 14 against Schmidt. So another guy that's, hitting well against these opposing pitchers. So I really like the over. I really think that both of these lineups are kind of clicking, and the pitching for the Yankees not that great. And Bassett's been pretty good at home, but again, there's some guys on the other side that have good numbers against him. So it's a recipe for an over, but I'm not going to step in front of Toronto winning 4 in a row. Yankees
It'll be 5,
yeah. So let's just go. Let's just ride what's going right.
Adam Osimo says go Blue Jays. He also says he likes Colorado under 4.5 in the team total. Shane says never count out the Dodgers. By the way, more good news for Chris and those who may have been with Chris on the under on the Twins and Marlins. The Marlins just turned a double play on Willie Castro to get out of the top of the 8th. And now there's already 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. So 4-1 Marlins, bottom 8, already 1 out. So you're 5 outs away from cashing in on that under, Chris.
Excellent. Well, the White Sox were 3 outs away last night from cashing in.
That's true.
Nice plus 260-ish price against the Dodgers, and unbelievable. You got to figure the White Sox are just demoralized today. We might have to actually lay the lumber with the Dodgers later. We'll see.
By the way, good job at a youngster Yuri Perez for the Marlins today against the Twins. He went 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs, and 7 strikeouts. Great performance by him. All right, folks, coming up a little bit later in about 45 minutes, Betting Weekly Fast Break will be with you. So if you want WNBA picks, all things hoops, check out Betting Weekly Fast Break. Again, that comes your way at 3 o'clock. So next game, we got the Brewers and the Mets. Like the Yankees, the Mets are also not playing good baseball. They did split a doubleheader yesterday. The pitching matchup today, Jose Quintana, the former Met, pitching against David Peterson, a current Met, in New York, where, again, the Mets overall have been good at home, but they have not been playing good baseball of late. And like the Yankees have blown a division lead, now they're tied. The Mets have done the same, but they're actually not in first anymore. They're 2 games back of Philly in the NL Central. The NL East. So anything Brewers Mets for you, Chris?
It's a tough game. You'd like to see that the Mets, hey, maybe they got one yesterday. They can get going a little bit. But then you look at Quintana. He's just been unbelievable this year. Lights out on the road, 4-0 with a 1.31 ERA. Opposing batters in the Mets lineup hitting only .216 against them. And 2 of their best hitters, Lindor and Marte, have been striking out a bunch. Lindor has 6 Ks against 22 at-bats versus Quintana. Marte, 8 Ks and 24 at-bats. One guy who has been hitting well against the opposing pitcher is Rhys Hoskins against Peterson. He's a 7 for 16, 2 home runs at a .438 clip. So I might play a hit prop, total bases probably on Rhys Hoskins. I gotta search around a little bit on this. I think I saw to get a hit -160 around that range. But for a guy who's, seeing it well against a certain pitcher, I like to find these angles. And, you don't have to go crazy and bet him to do everything, hit home runs and RBI and everything. But just to get, just a guy who sees it clearly, hitting .438, just to get a hit, you only have to lay, you lay 160, probably, a little high, but, something I'm probably going to get in on Rhys Hoskins in this game. But the total, not really sure. Both these pitchers really, really good in their, on the road 4-0. Like I said, Quintana and Peterson's been good at home 4-0 with a 2.22. So maybe it's a lower scoring game, although the last 2 games of this series has gone over. So
right
there we, I'm not going to play it either way. I am going to look for some numbers on Rhys Hoskins to get a hit, maybe over total 1.5 bases.
All right, next game on the docket, the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Obviously, Robbie Ray has been fantastic as always when he's been healthy for the Giants. Brandon Pfaadt's been an up and down season for him this year. This game is in Arizona. It'll start 6:40 local time. The Giants are a slight favorite in this game in Arizona. Anything to play in this one for you?
What jumped out to me was the over. Last 2 games, back-to-back nights, has gone over 6-5 last night and 8-2 on Wednesday. I'm going to go with the over again in this game. D-backs hitting .295 with 3 home runs. This lineup versus Robbie Ray, and Arizona against Giants against Pfaadt, .367 average with 2 home runs. And a weird stat: the last 14 of the last 15 times following a D-backs extra inning game at home, the game has gone over the total. Just a bizarre trend. So that's a trend that I like, and I like the fact that both teams are hitting, and the last 2 games went over. And even though you have Ray, you're getting a depressed line because he's been so good. But if you look at it, the D-backs have been hitting him well, .295, 3 home runs, and vice versa for the Pfaadt versus the Giants lineup. So a lot of hitters that are hitting well as it's gone down in the series already, and the 2 pitchers that are coming in that they also hit well. And you can find this total 8.5. I think that's a decent value for this game to go over tonight.
I like the over in this game as well. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think it's going to go over easy. I think there's going to be a double digits put up in this game. So I'm with you on that one. They go to the 9th in Miami, still 4-1. Marlins got a base runner, but no runs in the bottom of the 8th. So 3 outs away. Ronnie Enriquez is coming in for the save for the Marlins. In the top of the 9th, he'll face the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Lee, France, and Wallner. Wallner knocking the only Twins run in with a homer. Twins only have 5 hits in the game. So we'll keep an eye on that 9th inning there.
I'll give you 2 more, Bull, on the San Fran game. Against Ray, Suarez is 4 for 11 with the homer against Ray, and Gurriel 3 for 7 with the homer against Ray. So a couple other guys that hit Ray pretty well, just to add those in.
It's funny. You mentioned Suarez. He is fascinating to me because last year, in his first year in Arizona, he had 30 home runs. Obviously a good number, 101 ribbies, good year. And he hasn't hit more than 31 home runs since he hit 49 for the Reds in 2019. But this year he's got 26 home runs and 69 ribbies already. And we're just past the halfway point of the season. So he's on pace for about 50 homers. And again, he hit 49 back in 2019. But I feel like he's been, like, for many years, kind of an under the radar, very good player.
Very under the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people can pick him out of the lineup?
No, not many. I mean, definitely not. All right, Guardians at the Cubs tonight at Wrigley Field. The Cubs going for the sweep in this one. So if you look at my sheet here, it says Luis Ortiz versus Cade Horton. That will not be the case. For those who have not heard, an important note for tonight's game: Luis Ortiz was supposed to start for the Guardians tonight. He has been suspended by Major League Baseball he's been suspended for 2 weeks with pay. They're investigating him for gambling. In terms of how long he's going to be out, that doesn't matter for our purposes right now. If you're a Guardians fan, you're not happy about it. And Joey Cantillo, who's been up and down the last 2 years with the Guardians, mostly as a starter last year, mostly as a reliever in the big leagues this year, he's going to get the call up and he's going to make the start. Now, for the Cubs, Cade Horton is their best pitching prospect. He's been up about a month, got off to a really good start, but his last 2 starts, he's gotten rocked. So how do you So this is a tricky one to me because I don't know what to expect from Cantillo at all. Like I said, Horton's got good stuff, but his last 2 starts, he's gotten crushed. But then again, the Guardians' offense, not very good. So is this a stay away or is there something you see here?
Yeah, it's definitely a stay away from me. I'm not gonna back Cleveland off 6 straight losses. Although the money has come in for Cleveland, and I think it's because Cantillo, granted it's his first start of the year, but on the road he's got a 1.35 ERA. He's made 21 relief appearances, 3.81, but for some reason on the road 1.35.
Yeah.
And 8 of the last 9 road games by Cleveland have gone under the total. So maybe it's just an under game, as you're saying. Cleveland's bats aren't really connected. Maybe Cantillo's a different animal. They haven't seen much of him. He hasn't started all year. So maybe it's an under. I'm not gonna play the game. If you're gonna play, you kind of have to go with the Cubs or pass, right? I mean, 27 and 15 at home, and Cleveland just not hitting and six losses in a row. You're not gonna be the one trying to get that first win. I'd wait for Cleveland to win a game before betting them again.
Folks, sign up for the newsletter at bettingweeklystudios.com for weekly betting tips, soccer previews, tennis brackets, and breakdowns. That's at bettingweeklystudios.com. By the way, if yesterday, we've got some guys that are hot. How have you been lately, Chris? I know Doug has hit 11 of his last 15 picks on the show. Wes has hit 7 of his last 10. How's your streak here lately?
You know what? I was all right yesterday. I got really hot with Judge. I had Judge yesterday, home run, walk, total bases.
Nice.
And RBI. So I got a 4 for 4 on that. And I had Toronto and over in the game. So that was my good game. Unfortunately, I was on the D-backs a couple of different ways, and I was on the Angels yesterday as well. So those 2 went down. It was pretty much a break-even day because I did have, like I said, the props on Judge. But it's nice when you get all of them to come through. Based on the averages or what the pitchers pitch. But sometimes the other night I gave out Vlad Guerrero, who he was 8 for 12 against the opposing Yankee pitcher, and right away he got the double right off the bat. But then the pitcher might come out of the game in the 4th inning. He's not facing that pitcher anymore. So that's why you have to get him early, which I was happy I did. I got lucky with that Judge home run at the 8th. I'm not sure why they pitched to him, but it was nice. It was nice to cap it off. It was nice to cap it off with all 4 of them.
Maserati Fox says he likes the Blue Jays and Springer to get 2 total bases. I know we like the Blue Jays, but 2 total bases for Springer. You with him on that?
I like it. Springer's been hot. I mean, look at the last couple of nights. He's hitting the gaps. He's hitting for power. He's got the 2 home runs, 7 RBI. He's a high energy player. He seems to be thriving in this new rivalry with the Yankees. he's a big time player from the Astros, World Series champ. So local Connecticut boy. So he probably has a little extra gusto when he plays the Yankees. So I could definitely co-sign for that. Spring is hot. Ride them when they're hot. Ride them when they're hot.
And you just saw the message from Jameel there. Said great. He liked your Vlad pick. We also got a message from Amish Farmer who says, how will Ortiz's investigation into the gambling affect the Guardians? I can't imagine it will have a positive one. Cantillo starting for the Guardians is a strikeout pitcher. K-prop only.
Problem with the K-prop, though, Cantillo, who knows how long he's going to pitch. He might pitch two innings. I'm not sure what the K-prop is. It's tough with these openers. The Red Sox had an opener last night. The guy pitches one inning. He gets the first out in the second, and a guy comes on, and they take him right out. he pitches an inning and 2/3 or whatever. So it's tough. I'm not sure how long they're going to stretch the guy out. Maybe they are going to stretch him out to a starter. I don't have that information, but most likely he's just going to pitch 2 innings. They're not going to blow him out and then destroy his bullpen, career. So
tough
to bet a K-prop there.
Yeah, he's been in the minors. He's been pitching for Columbus. He's pitched 4 games for Columbus, and they've all been starts. However, he's only pitched a total of 11 2/3 innings, so that's less than 3 innings per start. So he has been starting in the minors, but he's not going very long into these games. We actually, I'm looking at it right now. We do not have a prop bet on him in terms of and there's nothing with him. Okay, let me double check that. No, there's nothing in terms of strikeouts or anything with him right now. You could get Cade Horton over 4.5 strikeouts plus 145. I mean, he was a strikeout pitcher in the minors, but it hasn't translated so far in the majors. By the way, winner. The Marlins beat the Twins 4-1. It's a final. So cash those tickets on the under. There you go. Remember when they used to be tickets? No tickets anymore. We don't need tickets anymore. Now everything's online, of course, on the Bet Rivers app, which you should be using. If you're watching the show, you probably are. Let's see. Amish Farmer. We won't get into that right now. All right. Let's just go around the rest of the games on the docket today, the ones that we haven't mentioned. The Tigers and the Nationals, Tigers with the best record in baseball. Dietrich Enns is starting for Detroit. They've had a lot of pitching injuries. He'll be going up against Jake Irvin, who got off to a nice start this year for Washington, but he has not been as good lately. So I don't know that I trust either pitcher here, but the Tigers are the much better team, obviously.
This Dietrich Ennis guy, 34 years old. He came up in the majors in 2017 and disappeared for 4 years. Came back 2021, disappeared for another 4 years, and now he's back. He's pitched one. He's only pitched 1 game this year, 5 innings, 0 runs. But usually when that happens, the next game they're probably going to get lit up a little bit. Yeah. The only play I would make in this game is like you said, I don't really trust Jake Irvin either.
Yeah.
Although he's been better at home, but I could see maybe an over in this game. The last 8 Tigers games versus the NL have gone over. Tigers team batting .304, 2 home runs versus Jake Irvin. It's only in 1 start, small sample size, but I'm not expecting much out of this Ennis guy. And Jake Irvin hasn't been great.
Yeah.
And the trend's been the over in this series, so. I might be inclined to play a little over in this game a little bit later on.
Jake Irvin has a 7.01 ERA in the month of June after he, pitched solidly earlier in the season. So with his first start in July, last start he gave up 9 runs, 8 earned to the Angels. And it's not like the Angels are a fantastic lineup. So the over is sounds like a smart play there with the Tigers in Washington. They split a doubleheader yesterday. We've got the Angels. Speaking of the Angels, they're playing the Braves. Jose Soriano against Bryce Elder in this one. Atlanta obviously having a miserable season. Anything for you here?
It's tough to back Elder. I don't like betting teams off a loss. Soriano's faced the Braves lineup only 14 at bats, although he's fared pretty good. Very small sample size at an average of 214, no home runs. Elder's only faced 1 batter on the Angels. That's Soler. So this game is it's tough to trust Elder. 2-5 with a
Yeah.
5.82 ERA. This guy, and even worse at home, 1-2 with a 6.61. This would probably just be, I don't know, maybe play the Angels. Like every time you think the Braves are going to get hot or something, they just don't do it. I could never lay I could never lay 155. So I would probably just pass on this game.
Good pitching matchup out on the West Coast with the Mariners and the Royals. Seth Lugo and Brian Wu both have ERAs under 3. Obviously, the Royals have just been terrible offensively this year, and that's why they're 7 games under 500. It's certainly not Seth Lugo's fault. So good pitching matchup. Maybe the under in this one.
Or maybe a Nerfy, another weird trend.
Yeah.
Another weird trend. The last 7 Mariners games at home on Thursdays have gone under the no run in the first inning. So
yeah.
I mean, you have to look at it. I mean, both these pitchers have been good, home and away. Wu's been even better at home, 2.08, 3-1. So maybe a Nerfy, late night action. You want a little sweat on the East Coast. You just get your Nerfy, then you can go right to bed.
That's true. You won't have to wait for the whole game. I kind of like the under, the under 3.5 runs after 5 innings at -103. But okay,
not bad.
Yeah. Last game, White Sox and Dodgers also on the coast in LA, 7:10 local, 10:10 Eastern. Aaron Savali and Dustin May in this one.
I guess you could probably say let's roll with a -1.5 on the Dodgers. I don't want to lay 315. I mean, last night they were losing, probably should have lost, but it's tough. I mean, the White Sox only 9 wins on the road all year. This Savali 1-3 with a 5.92 on the road. And the Dodgers are batting .279 with 3 home runs against him. Will Smith, a very weird stat. He's 2 for 2 with 2 home runs versus Valley, so I expect him to be in the lineup tonight. May, not too great either. 4-5 with a 4.68. A little better at home, 3.38 ERA. So, maybe May likes to pitch a little bit better at home. Maybe they get a bunch of, maybe they get off to a hot start. They've been slow starting lately, so. I don't know. Maybe you play a 1.5. I'm not going to lay 315 on the Dodgers. You just can't do it. It's too expensive. It's too expensive when you lose,
Yeah. That's too big a hit. All right. Thanks to everybody for joining us today. Thanks for the messages in the chat here. Cuban says all Andy Pages props all day. Andy Pages has had a great season for the Dodgers.
He's been unbelievable. He's like hits a home run every game now.
I know. It really has been had a magnificent season. A team that already had an overwhelming amount of talent. Even with all their injuries, they have the best record in the National League. Again, thanks to Shane and Alex for producing today. We will be on. I'll be Doug and myself tomorrow on 4th of July. If you're not with us, have a great 4th of July. Chris, you have a great 4th of July. And hit all your bets. Let's go. Everybody stay hot out there like Chris was already hitting his first bet of the day with the Twins Marlins under. For Chris, I'm Adam. We'll see you next time on Betting Weekly Hardball, brought to you by